السلام عليكم طلاب، أنا دكتورة ھالة، واليوم راح ناخذ محاضرة رقم 10 بسلسلة محاضرات مادة الرواية للصف الرابع قسم اللغة الإنجليزية. محاضرتنا هي التكلم عن symbolism باختصار قصيرة. A good man is hard to find by Flannery O'Connor. So Flannery O'Connor uses symbolism to deepen the story's exploration of themes like morality, faith, and the nature of good and evil. So symbolism of appearance and social status. The first one is the grandmother's hat. It represents the grandmother's hat symbolizes her concern with appearance, social status, and traditional Southern values. She wears the hat to look like a lady and to maintain an image of respectability. The hat is a physical manifestation of her superficial values and her preoccupation with how she is perceived by others. Foreshadowing and irony. So the hat also foreshadows her downfall. When the car crashes, the hat is destroyed, symbolizing the breakdown of her superficial identity. In the story's climax, when she confronts the misfit, her concern with appearances becomes meaningless in the face of death, highlighting the story's theme of futility of clinging to outward appearances. So the misfit's card, symbolism of death and despair. The misfit's card described as a hearse-like automobile symbolizes death and the inevitable fate awaiting the family. The car's appearance immediately signals danger and foreshadows the grim events that follow. Also, there is a representation of doom. The car also represents the inescapable doom that the family faces once they encounter the misfit. It serves as a vehicle of death, transporting not only the misfit and his gang, but also the idea that evil is an ever-present force. So the road also has a symbolic idea because there's symbolism of life's journey. The road the family travels on is symbolic of the journey of life. It represents the choice people make and the directions they take, sometimes leading to unforeseen consequences. So there is metaphor for destiny. The road trip that the family embarks on is a metaphor for their journey towards their final destiny. The road twists and turns along with the detour to the plantation house symbolize the unpredictability of life and the inevitability of death. So the road leads them to their own death. Even with its detour, it was meant for the family to face the misfit and face death as well. The grandmother's moment of grace has also a symbolic idea for redemption. The moment when the grandmother reaches out and touches the misfit, saying, "Why, you are one of my babies, you are one of my own children," is often interpreted as a moment of grace. In this moment, she transcends her selfishness and sees the misfit as a fellow human being, suggesting a fleeting connection to the divine and a possibility of redemption. There is also symbolism, irony of grace. However, this moment of grace is immediately followed by her death, which underscores the story's exploration of the complexity of salvation and the irony that grace can come in the most unexpected moments, and that's why it's a symbolic of grace as well. So the woods also has a certain symbolic idea because there is a symbolism of unknown and evil. The woods that surround the family after a car accident symbolize the unknown, the unconscious, and the presence of evil. As the family is led into the woods by the misfits' henchmen, the woods become a place of execution and death, representing the dark side of human nature. So the woods reflects this dark side of human nature because it is full of ambiguity. The wilderness and moral landscape. The woods also serve as a moral landscape where the family's values and beliefs are stripped away, leaving them vulnerable to the brutal reality of their situation. The title. So the title, A Good Man is Hard to Find, is also symbolic of moral ambiguity. The title itself is symbolic of the story's exploration of moral ambiguity. The phrase, a good man is hard to find, is represented by several characters in the story, each time with a different meaning. It reflects the characters' varied and often contradictory views on what it means to be good. The story challenges the reader to consider the nature of goodness and whether it is defined by actions, intentions, or circumstances. And this is very important, and the writer highlights this idea from the beginning till the end, making the reader question who is the good person in the story and how the action of a good person define him. The family's trivial behavior, symbolism of a moral decay. The family's trivial fights, selfishness, and lack of consideration for one another symbolize the moral decay in their lives. Their inability to connect meaningfully with each other mirrors the broader theme of spiritual emptiness and the disconnect between their outward appearances and inner realities. So each thing that the writer puts in the story is a kind of a symbolic or has a symbolic meaning. That's why this short story is very important. The name of the characters, there is symbolism in their names. The names of the characters, such as the grandmother, who is never named, John Wesley, named after the founder of Methodism, and John Starr, have symbolic significance. The grandmother's lack of names emphasizes her role as a type rather than individual, symbolizing all Southern ideals. John Wesley's name suggests a religious background, which contrasts with his behavior. John Starr's name, bright and shining, contrasts with her bratty and cynical personality. So everything was put with a purpose, it was not random. In summary, these symbols work together to enrich the story's exploration of human nature, morality, and the possibility of redemption, making a good man is hard to find a profound and complex piece of